Well, fittingly, it ended on a turnover. There are quite a few of those today in the red-white football game. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. The white team beats the red team 21-7. All the points in the first half. The white team, which comprised the first-team offense, better than the red team today, which comprised kind of the first-team defense. Obviously, the red team had an offense and the white team had a defense, but the white team was just a little bit better early on. Quarterback Jeff Sims, I liked what he did. He was pretty sharp in the first half, completed 6 of 8 passes in the first half for 100-some yards. He also ran for a 7-yard touchdown. He looked smooth. Hit Billy Kemp on a couple of throws, hit Borkircher down the seam on a tight end play. Jeff Sims was one of the successes of the day. So was Billy Kemp. He had a very nice game. Defensively, Nebraska struggled a bit early, especially that white team defense against the first team offense. But as the game went on, both defenses really stiffened up, creating a whole bunch of turnovers. A lot of fumbles today. I'm sure Matt Rule won't be happy about that. A couple of turnovers late here. Richard Torres threw an interception, and Chuba Purdy on the last play of the game threw an interception to Gage Stenger, who had a nice game. The North-South grad had a couple of plays, including that pick. Well, what happened today? Well, they actually played the game. I mean, they played a game, man. It was like 2.5 hours long. It was a long game. They played 125 plays, plus some special team stuff, not a ton of penalties, a lot of physicality, a lot of hitting. Heinrich Harburg, who struggled today, didn't complete a pass until the fourth quarter. He was stripped of a ball. He kind of threw it. It looked like it was a throw, but they didn't call it a throw. It turned into a fumble. Michael Booker, the second, picked that up, returned it for a score. That was the red team's only score of the day. They only had 151 total yards, and it was pretty ugly from quarterbacks Chuba Purdy and Richard Torres. They struggled largely because Nebraska only has about 5 or 6 really good linemen. And once you get past that group, the backups, mostly walk-ons, they were not great today. They had a hard time moving around the second and third team defenses. If I was going to think about trying to get a guy in the transfer portal, I think that offensive line would be a place you would go. Turner Corcoran limped off the field with a little bit of an injury, but I think he's okay. Jacob Hood limped off. He seemed okay. He came back. And then Elijah Judy late in the game kind of got banged up, but he seemed like he was okay too. So I think Nebraska got out of this deal relatively healthy. Well, what did we see today? I think Nebraska's got a quarterback. I think they got a couple of receivers. I think they got a first-team line, and I think they got an interesting battle at running back. I don't think that was settled at all today. Gabe Erpin and Anthony Grant, probably the top 2 guys. Ramir Johnson's there too. On defense, well, they got some young playmakers. Prince Willie Umanyalan had a couple of sacks today and a tackle for loss. MJ Sermon had a huge play where he stopped a guy on 4th down. He looked pretty good, the Georgia transfer. They looked pretty good at corner. Quentin Newsom and Malcolm Hartzog. Isaac Gifford looked good at Rover, but they've got questions there too. They're going to have to get more playmakers. They got to get bigger up front because the size that they had struggled against Nebraska's first-team offensive line. And if they go to Minnesota with that group, and they won't. They'll have Ty Robinson and Nick Henrich and Luke Reimer. But if they go to that group and they're not able to slow down the run, Minnesota will hold on to it for 37 minutes and run for 250. Nebraska's got to get better on that side of the ball, and I think they will. On offense, we saw the power plays. We saw the fullback stuff. We saw Janiron Bonner running the football, blocking people, coming on cross blocks, doing a lot of different things. They did incorporate him. They didn't lie about anything. Matt Rule's pretty honest about what we were going to see today. It wasn't always pretty, but it was exactly what he said it was going to be. Very physical football. At halftime, Frank Solich was honored, and they're going to name the new locker room after him. That seems like a worthy honor for him. True to Solich, he didn't have a ton to say at halftime. He just thanked everybody, and he said, "Go Big Red," and he walked off. That's kind of who he has always been. It's been a fun weekend for Nebraska football, but it is over. Spring camp is over. We'll have plenty of coverage of this game and then everything in the offseason. The Huskers have some things to work on, but I think they might have a quarterback. For Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra, I'm Sam McKewon.